Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura. I am back. I was not lost. I was not forgotten. I just took a little bit, time off. We need it. Christian took about a week ago before me, and then it was my turn, and eventually it's going to be Joey as well, man. So it's a party. It's a party. It's a party. I think that's what Chris is kind of dancing in the background, my friend. But, man, before I welcome in the guys that are going to join me, just housekeeping stuff. Obviously, everybody, when it comes to the Houston soccer sports, or Houston pro team, they all played. Houston Dynamo 2 got a big win, and we'll talk about that a little bit towards the end of this show. But just to give you an idea, obviously the Houston Dash got a pretty good win on the road against Chicago. Not the best of teams, but you know what? They went in there and they took all 3 points, which is what really matters. And again, as you can see, and as you've been listening to this show, we've kind of moved everything along, and you can hear everything regarding the Dash with Manny Olivares and Diego Martinez on the Orange and Blueprints podcast. So shout out to them. They've been doing a great job. They've had some guests in there as well. So hopefully I'm thinking of maybe jumping in there soon enough. My Wednesdays are going to start getting busy again, so it may be a little bit difficult, but we'll get there soon enough, man. And before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and introduce some of these main characters in here, man. We got Christian Putalidad. Brother, how you been?
Dang, you said main character. That's a compliment. Appreciate that.
Main character, man.
Good, man. I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
That's awesome, man. It's been a minute. We haven't talked in like 2 weeks, man, because you've been out. I've been out. It's one of those times. I did get to listen to the podcast last week, and I'll touch on some of those stuff throughout here. Also joined by Joe Chavala. Joe, keep showing us that Pokemon, man. I like the Sam.
That sounds so wrong.
It's my boy Alakazam.
Alakazam.
And our boy Hunter.
Man, dude, those are great. It's sad that's like, I love Pokemon. Not crazy enough.
There's my boy Mewtwo at too.
Bro, my kid started getting into Pokemon, and we bought him like books with all the Pokemon. Did you guys know there's over 1,000 Pokemon now?
Yeah.
What the French toast?
I didn't, because I'm so stuck with like the 150.
Yeah.
And then a couple generate like 2 and 3. I still, but other than that, that's about as far as I went, man.
I started with 3.
Yeah, see. And in the behind the scenes, we do have Edson Ochoa joining us tonight. He'll be taking care of all the slides, all the comments, posting it up here, letting us know what you guys are thinking. Obviously, we already see Rushan in here. Yeah, man, we're here today on a Monday. I know that the guys got really busy last Monday and they had to move it to Tuesday. Nathan, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. People are starting to trickle in. Funny enough, man, how much is there to talk about a scoreless game in Seattle? We don't know, but we'll see where it takes us. But Chris, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, man, just tell the people how they can connect with us.
Yeah, like always, guys, BayouCitySoccer.net is the website. Go check us out over there. Check us out on social media at Bayou City Soccer on X, Instagram, Facebook, the YouTube channel. If you are watching it now, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget to hit the little bell to kind of remind you when we're going live, and you can catch these episodes live. You can catch the Dash podcast live. You can catch the Spanish podcast live. You can catch everything that we're doing here. So obviously we're expanding. We're getting a lot more stuff going on. So, you guys have to, be aware of everything that's going on. And you can find everything, like I said, at BayouCitySoccer.net. Shout out Ugly Guppy. Thank you for all the good gear, and shout out Elotes Bravos for also sponsoring the segment. And then we'll talk about later on we got some news as well with Rudy. So we'll keep it there. BayouCitySoccer.net for everything and anything soccer in Houston, guys.
Yeah, shout out to Ugly Guppy. We actually, guys, we are getting new gear. I'll get Manny to go pick it up since Ugly Guppy's about 10 minutes from his house. So he'll be picking up some new gear for us.
What we
So
got?
the people can see it, man. We got new polos. I think they're like light blue, kind of to go with what the Dash has, done in the
Beautiful.
Bay
past.
City Blue?
Yeah, close to Space City
Nice.
below.
The Space City Boys.
And I think some more hats. I can't remember if we went black or more navy hats, but I know, Joey, we're not giving you one, man. You're gonna give it away. Oh, actually, I thought of
Give it to
something,
Ben.
and I don't know if Manny told you guys or posted it on the chat. But last game, I went to the Dash game, like home opener, and he was in there with me, and this guy won it. I forgot something. I guess they did like a giveaway. And at the end of the game, he saw it and he asked like one of the security guards, like, "Hey man, can I have one of these?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, you can have it, but I have to have your hat." And Manny didn't even think about it. He gave the guy the hat. So there's somebody out there with a Bayou City Soccer hat.
Hey.
So it was
Give mine to Ben. He wants one.
He got
That's
one,
true.
man. We
He
hooked
got
him
one?
up.
You're right. You're right.
We hooked him up.
Give
That's
it
for
to
sure,
give it to Blake Gillingham.
For real.
you gotta take the hats
He
off
earned
for
it.
that.
Yeah. Head off to our boy.
But yeah,
Never doubted him.
I guess before we get into the Dynamo, and Chris, you kind of mentioned it, I'll go ahead and say it since we do have a podcast out there. But I don't know what 3-4 months ago, Chris, you were the one that was like, "Hey man, there's this shop. Looks like it's gonna be opening here in Houston, which is We Got Soccer." We did a little bit of research. It seemed like they've been around for quite a long time in the New England area, and the guy running it, his name is Ruben Rodriguez. Guy's from Portugal. He's a fan, man. I mean, it was great talking to him, just getting to know him, because the more you interacted with him, at the end of the day, like, yes, they're opening a store. It's something, that they're trying to make money out of, selling all this products. But the way that the guy just loves the sport, and he, lived here during his what is it called, junior high school days, when his dad started to work here in the energy corridor. And he was just telling me a bunch of stories of people he used to train with and all that good stuff, man. And it was just crazy. I mean, obviously we did a really long interview with him, and it went into great detail. I don't know if you guys have been able to listen to it, but definitely highly suggest that you could check it out. And then you go and check out We Got Soccer. They just opened that Tomball location that he mentioned. And there's another one that's going to be opening in West Chase area off of Westheimer. So it'd be
nice.
Relatively, what is that? It's close to like Memorial City, right? Is it? That's West Chase.
Yeah,
kind of by my place.
Yeah, it's closer to you than me, probably, Joey. At this point. But no, it's exciting because they're going all out on the fan experience of it. I think the one off West Chase is actually gonna have a podcast room that has it's glass, so it's supposed to be
nice.
People can watch it from the outside, and the idea there is to get people like us, to go out there. Obviously, they do work with TUDN as well, and so you'll probably see Cesar Procel out there and interacting with Liga MX, because they do a lot of Liga MX. Because as Ruben mentioned, it was crazy that there's not a lot of shops that really sell that type of product, and not just America Chivas. There's people that like León, there's people that like Pachuca, that Pumas,
Monterrey, bro,
all that good stuff. Yeah. So, anyways,
Monterrey.
That was a fantastic episode, and again, here one of the biggest things we do at Bayou City Soccer is we try to help grow the soccer community as much as we can, right? I mean, we have a microphone, we have a voice that, we have, you guys listening, we have articles that we write, and we try to get that community spotlight as much as we can, because we know that at the end of the day, big media is not doing it, and someone has to do it, and whether that feels like it's little or big, we're trying our best to get that exposure out there. So again, We Got Soccer is going to be a good friend of ours, and we hope that you guys, you the fan, you the dad that has to take your kid to soccer practice, can go out there and find what you need, right? Because yes, you can buy a lot of things online, but there's nothing like going to a shop and seeing things live. And Aldo was there this weekend on Friday, and he was over the moon just how big of a shop this was. He's like, dude, we've never had anything like this in Houston. Guys like us, and it's like we played, all our, childhood and growing up, and we didn't really have that. So it just kind of
it's just soccer stuff, right?
It's just soccer stuff. So jerseys, cleats. Obviously socks. They try to keep everything that they can, and then obviously apparel as well. And closing in this train of thought, one of my favorite things that he mentioned was just how nowadays, and we see it right with a lot of people are rocking jerseys, and they probably have no clue who the hell that team is, but because it looks cool, right? It looks fashionable.
It has become part of fashion.
It's opening the doors to other people. And there's also people like they may have never even played the sport, and they play FIFA or they play something that opens up that gateway as well. And so seeing the amount of people we have here in Houston, all the supporters, obviously apart from Houston Dynamo, we have so many people that follow La Liga, we have so many people that follow EPL, Bundesliga, all those clubs, man. So anyway, yeah. So
who's the happiest person in that this store is open? Manny. He's gonna be able to get all his team jerseys in one spot. Shout out to Manny.
Manny's wife's gonna kill him when he blows his whole paycheck on soccer jerseys.
No kidding, dude. No kidding. He's gonna hit all his 20 teams, man. They'll have everything for him out there. But again, I'm excited. Again, I was telling him, I was like, dude, my 6-year-old keeps asking to play soccer again. I put him in there just for him to try it, and I've been doing all kinds of activities and sport just for him to have something. But he keeps telling me he wants to play, and I don't want to push him because I know I'm gonna be that crazy dad and But at the end of the day, this fantastic news to have in the city, for sure, guys. But let's get to it. Let's get to Dynamo news. Dynamo news around the corner. So the Dynamo, obviously, week 5, they go to Lumen Field, a place that is very difficult for them in general. They've never won in that stadium. They hardly get points out of there, whether it be the turf field, whether it be the atmosphere. To me, honestly, I just get goosebumps listening to the crowd do the whole Seattle Sounders. I mean, I've never been to that stadium. I want to go. I mean, and you may be right, Chris. We've talked about this, just a chance, but it's pretty cool that you do have that. And obviously, we know that Seattle's been around since like the 70s, and it's cool that they're what's it called a real OG when it comes to soccer in the States, and a staple. And whether they're probably not going to win the Shield as I predicted, because Joey's always right, and they're always going to rotate the team Schmitzel is, and
that's right.
It's just crazy that we already knew all the issues that the Dynamo were having with injuries, and they go into this game, and we see the starting 11, right? We see the picture that is taken and nobody ever sees. That's the reality of it. Yeah. But we see, obviously, we knew that Jack McGlynn was out because of the U.S. national team call up. Brooklyn Reigns was going to be out. Sebastian Rodriguez was going to be. Not that these guys have debuted. Rodriguez hasn't, but those are midfielders that probably are here, right? I think if Jack McGlynn wasn't, obviously was not there, the next guy up was probably going to be Brooklyn Reigns. And if Brooklyn Reigns wasn't there, then the next guy up. I'm sorry?
Ben pretty much said that in the pregame presser.
Exactly. So obviously Ben was hurting. He knew that those were key pieces, to his team, and especially going to Seattle that's been obviously similar to the Dynamo. They've been hurting with injuries. They lost Paul Arriola. Jordan Morris has been injured. Key players in the system that they have that through and through we already know and is very established. Did Jamar play as well? And I believe he was questionable as well. And so I guess just from the starting 11, I guess Joey, you probably felt that was the best way to approach this game. Or what else would you have played alley-oop, like played just purely counter? What's your thoughts on that, man?
I probably would have played alley-oop over Ladero just so there's some sort of outlet. But I mean, what he did worked, so I can't really hate on it too much. I mean, I thought the same thing against Columbus, and it worked as well. So I think Ben probably got it right.
Yeah, and I will say though, definitely different setup than Columbus in the sense of you definitely had already lost some key players, and you weren't gonna go into Seattle even if it's a injury plagued team. You weren't gonna be able to play toe to toe to them, right, Chris? And the cool thing too, obviously, Nico Loredo, I think Cesar interviewed him a week or two after he got picked up by the Dynamo, and he mentioned he hadn't returned to Seattle since he left. So really cool that they do this. What's the gesture? I'm trying to get the correct word here, but obviously they show all his trophies that he won with the team, and they gave him a grand ovation. I mean, the guy looked like he was, in tears as well. Obviously he spent so much time there, but right in the beginning of the game, he took out one of the Seattle guys, and I was like, damn, how's that not a red card? It's like the emotions got over him, Chris. But man, just your thoughts overall, man, not necessarily on Loredo, but you can start, we know this is a 0-0 game. Yeah. We know that there's injuries, and we'll touch on that. But overall, man, just your thoughts on the Dynamo against this Seattle team.
Yeah, I basically agree with Joey on this one. Handicapped team, a lot of injuries, a lot of players out, that national team duties and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean they did the best you can. Honestly, you can't just. You're not going to expect to go to Lumen Field against Seattle and try to, go toe-to-toe like Joey said. So you just kind of have to sit back a little bit and kind of figure out what they're trying to do, see if you can hit them on a counterattack, see if you can kind of try something out, here and there. I think Lodeiro does a good job, I feel like, and where he is. I think, obviously, you can kind of see his age sometimes here and there, but also you can see his skills, like, personal, individual skills. Kowalczyk, he was kind of, lost in there in the sauce a little bit. It's one of those things that I want to agree with Joey in the sense that we did need an outlet on the left side, maybe. Obviously, not. I'm not gonna say my hate, but my dislike for alley-oop obviously would not let me say alley-oop, but I think an outlet like alley-oop would have been different just because of what he does in a way.
Yeah,
but then again, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There wasn't really much, right? To kind of, a lot of people would say, who's this kid that's on the bench?
Arzu, Batioja, they got brought up. Obviously, the news before the game was Batioja and Diego Gonzalez. Got the cold up, but they stayed on the bench. Arzu was available as well, I believe.
But it's a game that you had to kind of be careful from the beginning, because if you open up too much, they're gonna put 2 and 3 away real quick, and there goes your 3 points. There goes your whole trip to Seattle type thing.
Right.
So I think obviously they were very careful, and at the end of the day, it kind of paid off, right? And one of the players that we haven't talked about yet, that I think it was a key player, and Joey would probably agree with his rating, was Urso in the midfield. The dude was everywhere.
So, yes.
And there's Rushan as well on the comments.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Urso was one of the best players on the field. I mean, his accuracy was tremendous. I think he got 53 out of 54 passes. And he was challenging every play, disrupting obviously just the buildup that Seattle wanted to have. But at the end of the day, I think you look at it as a whole, and you know your team is not doing great, right? You've only have one tie in 4 games before that. Um, you go to Seattle. We I know you guys went through the slides, and I did put March 212. The game was gonna happen, so there was that. But the fact that this could have gotten much worse, right? This could have kept the snowball of bad things just continue to carry on because Seattle again, as the way that the team was playing with all the injuries before the match, you probably expected them to lose, right? In all honesty, it was going to be very difficult for them to get a point. And even though we know Ben's system, we know the way he plays. I mean, there's really, this is not at all his Benny ball. It's not at all. He takes every single game differently. But as us that follow the games and the pressers and all that, like you can kind of pinpoint the way that he's going to set up his team. And Hefe did a fantastic job hosting last episode, and he talked about maybe you just have to park the bus and take the wheels out of the bus, put it in blocks. I heard you guys mentioning that, and to an extent he didn't necessarily do that, but it was set up to be a more let's deflect as much as we can, and as it gets closer towards the end, then we'll probably throw another defender, which they did.
And they did pretty good. I mean, if you look at the game overall, I can't really remember. Maybe there was a clear chance by Seattle, but I can't like picture any clear, like super clear chances of Seattle, like
for either team, really.
But obviously, I don't think we were expecting anything out of the Dynamo, in my opinion. Like clear chances wise, right? We might get lucky here and there and defend a 1-0 until the death. But Seattle, you were like, well, they're gonna just throw everything, and then if we want to get into the injuries, like one guy goes down and Bartlow in the 5th minute, and you're like, well, this is gonna be a dark night tonight. We're already staying up late, and we're probably not gonna have a good night, and it just kind of turned out well, right? Like we saw Escobar kind of step up, and we were like, wait, what is he doing? This guy's everywhere on the field, like.
Well, and even jokingly, right? I mean, in our group chat, it was like, hey, minute in and it's still 0-0. Like they haven't got it scored on. And then it's like, hey, minute 5. Hey, look at that.
Yeah,
it's still 0-0. So
which is important because in the last few games, or at least 2 of the 4 games that we played before, minute 1 through 5 were the most dangerous one. And then minute, 42 to 45 were the most dangerous one. So that's kind of what we were looking at first. Like, what is the beginning going to look like, and what is the end going to look like on each half? And once we kind of went through that, we were like, okay, the Dynamo are going to pick up a rhythm. They're going to find a way to play, how to try to keep the ball, try not to give it away as much as possible. I do want Joey to kind of touch on Ponce, because obviously the comments are talking about how he was just. He's not useful. In my opinion, Ponce played a heck of a game defensively.
Ponce was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But Joey kind of breaks it down better. So I don't know. I'll pass it over to Joey to talk about Ponce.
I thought Ponce was really good. I mean, he started the high press. He starts the shape from defending from the front. He just brings so much energy. I mean, he had 2 tackles in the game. He had a block as well on a pass. He played a really, really good disciplined game. He got back and helped the midfield. In the few good attacking spells that I had, he was really involved in the build-up. He was holding the ball up, getting guys involved. He was really good. I mean, he didn't score, but he's not going to score if chances aren't created, and there really wasn't many chances created. There was 12 shot creating actions the entire game for the Dynamo. That's really poor. There was not a lot of chance creation in the game. I don't think really any of them fell to Ponce. He had 1 shot the whole game. Oh, he had 0 shots the whole game, actually.
Also looking at Ponce, like it was minute, if I'm not mistaken, 91, and the dude was still chasing around the ball
Yeah,
like on
he
the
doesn't
back line.
stop. He's got an
So
engine.
I was like, this guy, like his stamina must be on point. We come from a guy in Sebas Ferreira who, would make 2 sprints and the guy would be tired. I mean, you could tell his physicality wasn't there. But you have Ponce, he's literally chasing people down. He's
Mhm.
fighting one-on-ones, trying to protect the ball. I mean, his body is built for that, right? He's a defender that plays with his back against the goal. Unfortunately, obviously, you want to see him more in the box, trying to go up in the air. I mean, we all recognize he has this is gonna sound terrible, but he has a really good head game. But
Yes, sir.
but that's what he does, right? But like Joe said, if there's no service, how is this man gonna be put to work? So
Yeah, and that's the comment I share about Dago. I mean, it's what we've seen. I don't think that we see Ponce get fed like we expected him to. We in the beginning of the season or just towards the end. When he arrived, we were like, man, Hector's gonna be the guy to get a ton of assists with him. Coco, like all these players, and they're not there right now, and they're struggling with the way that it's set up. And you see it in Ben, right, being definitely frustrated that the players that he needs are not coming in, and then the players he has continue to get
They're
injured.
coming.
And yeah, and I know that I don't know if it was Dog or someone mentioned how they're becoming like MD Anderson FC, but it's true. I mean, injuries continue to happen, and there's the game approach that the Ben did was spot on. I mean, that's the way that you go in and you try to get a point, right? And there wasn't any chances. If they would have had maybe 1 or 2, you could have maybe really wished for that, header at the end of the game by Daniel Stairs. It just never came.
Yeah.
And the opportunities were extremely slim in the attack, Joey.
Yeah, I still think there was some good moments of attack. Ben definitely touched about it in the post game presser. There was some really good spells of possession. Again, there wasn't much chance creation, but there was some good opportunities for chance creation. I think some of the final balls were lacking. I think
Edson
Nico
has
Lazzaro's
the
final ball was kind of off. Griffin Dorsey didn't really have a great game offensively. There was moments they had opportunities to have great games.
Edson almost jumped ahead of it, but no. I just went to see the stats. Obviously, it was pretty equal game overall. I mean, 55 possession by them, 45 by the Dynamo.
It wasn't as one-sided as it felt.
Yeah, and so here is when we start talking about the game itself, right? In the sense of 21 or what was it, 21 minutes in, you have to Isla Barlow goes down. Looks like he pulled a hammy. I mean, it could be. I mean, we saw the same thing happen to Sebastian Ferreira, and it just lingered for a long time. I mean, you hope that's not the case with Ethan, but it was already a position of center backs that is already thin. Joey, you always ask about Femi, Vasviachenko. Chris, you talked about. They eventually Franco was the one slotted as a center back. He did a very good job. He almost lost his head and got a red card like he tends to do. But you know what? At the end of the day, he did what he needed to do, and that was well by them. I love fiery players, and obviously as defenders, you want to be the punisher, and it makes you better. I think at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the red card is coming. It's gonna happen. We're gonna cuss him out. But yeah, he plays on that line very much. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's a good soccer player. I mean, that's what you need from a defender, right? Somebody that's gonna just go to everything. Yeah, he's gonna run through a wall. Doesn't matter who's coming to attack him. He's gonna run right through him. The typical, either the ball's going through or the player, but not both. And he kind of lives that, right? And he did very well. And one of the things that Ben mentioned was that Escobar has been mentioning the fact that he wants to play center back. So this might be the chance that he's been wanting, or he's been trying to kind of put there. But I think it would be cool to kind of see what he can do. Yeah, no, you good.
Yeah.
I was trying to read it and talk, but I couldn't do it at the same time.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with Jay to an extent. I think that when Ponce got into the team, I think it wasn't the best Hector Herrera as well. But even though it wasn't the best Hector Herrera, he was still trying to provide those through balls and those passes. And that's one thing that I still see lacking is the chemistry. A lot of the times when Ponte maybe making a run, the ball gets struck either really in front of him or really behind him. So there's just something missing there, but not necessarily know exactly what's going to fix it apart from repetitions at this point. And then obviously guys that come in, we see David. What's up, David? Shout out to David. He did a fantastic job by himself doing the Spanish podcast. So listen to Movimiento Naranja on Thursdays. I should be back before David goes to Argentina. He's gonna go see his family.
Let's go.
So
he has to bring me back alfajores. I don't know. Do we make a list for David?
You have to make a list for David at this point, man. He's family now, so he has to, right? Bossy in the background. Everybody loves your Bossy thing, man. Joe, where's the Bossy background?
I fixed
he
it.
Changed it. He got it. I'll leave you. Yeah, so overall, again, not you see the stats. I mean, it's crazy to me that 7 corners for Seattle, and they can really punish the Dynamo. The Dynamo doesn't get any because, again, they really didn't have any chances. And Seattle only held to a one big chance, which is incredible. And this is all with 2 goalkeepers getting, to be out there on the field. You really have to feel for Jimmy Moore. Obviously, Andrew Tarbell goes down the game before from the get-go. And here, Dago, here is your hospital list here.
You can do a starting 11 of injured players.
Dude, we're close, man. We're close.
No, you could take Eric off that. He's back. He's
back, but it was definitely like a guy that has been dealing with an issue here and there.
Oh, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
The new guy that is still
Dwayne Holmes.
He's in a boot, man. So yeah, obviously it's not. You lose Andrew Tarbell. You feel like you're finally getting something, and then bam, he goes out. Jimmy Murray is like, I'm gonna step in. Boom, he's out as well. Kind of crazy, right? I don't know. Maybe this is do we have to call this the Steve Clark curse at this point? When kind of like the Great Bambino, wasn't the Crane Bambino curse? They maybe they thought that he was too old, so they trade him and they got rid of him to the Yankee, and Boston suffer. I feel that this is kind of what's happening in the goal. And Chris, you gave the perfect stat. You gave the perfect. He's not 100% yet. You gave the perfect stat that in 6 months they've had 4 different goalies.
Yeah, It's wild because you don't see that often, right? And you could say in 6 games you'll have 3 different goalkeepers, which is another crazy stat. Like 6 games, 3 different starting goalkeepers.
I'm gonna say Mr. Tovar just jinxed it,
and they did do great. I mean, all of them. I think Tarbell was still, he was like finding his way a little by little. He was kind of gaining his confidence, after the Columbus game, and even though there was another loss afterwards, it seemed like he was kind of getting into it. Jimmy Moore, he looked fantastic in my opinion.
He looked good.
He had two really good saves this game. Yeah, I mean, freaking cross-handed one, and then the one that was kind of like with no angle to the first post, and they looked, I mean, like you said, he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. It's unfortunate, and then you had Blake. I mean, we can literally talk nothing but good things about Blake. Even though he was, debut coming like from literally, he was probably in college 6 months ago.
Well, no, we were talking about this. He came as a roster invitee in the preseason.
There you
go. He is the Dynamo 2 backup goalie because Pedro Cruz was in front of him. And then out of nowhere, this guy's the starter, right? I mean, you would think that he'll be the starter against Portland, and it makes you think, right? Because there's a difference. Whenever you come in as a sub, I think you don't really have time to get nervous. You just go out there and just pure reaction and everything that you've like kind of learned throughout the years, but now is a different animal when you know you're the guy that the team is going to rely on. So, but no, I mean, great story. I mean, the guy did have a couple good saves, as you mentioned, Chris. He kept the clean sheet, and that's all you want at the end of the day, too, man.
Yes, sir.
I want to Diego. Yeah, that perfect. Because I questioning the medical team. I don't.
Oh, that's nonsense.
You can you can see it, but
That's just luck.
I feel like in the in the last few years, this team was one of the healthiest teams that we probably had in this, like the whole Ben era. There wasn't a lot of injuries.
Brandon not here spitting facts though. Just
and
FYI.
Blake was better than
I mean, we were talking about the medical teams. I remember a few years back, Arsenal used to pick up just a ton of injuries, and there was a lot of people calling for
sack the medic.
to sack all the medical team, and they overhauled the whole medical team, and there was still just injuries after injuries. Still to this day, it's just luck, man.
Yeah, and I think it's the same group that kept everybody healthy. You guys remember 3 years ago?
It's been
in 2023. They had
like
no
one
injuries.
injury. Yeah,
they had like Escobar missed a few games here and there,
it.
but they had no injuries in 2023.
Yeah, exactly.
And also the goalkeepers. I mean, they don't get a lot of reps. I mean, Tomball, like if you look at Tomball, that was, him going up and coming down kind of awkwardly, right?
Right.
Yeah. Jimmy Moore, like, he doesn't have a lot of activity.
Has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
The medical team doesn't make him fall correctly catching the ball. It's luck.
It's just, crazy, stupid chance.
And again, this is at the end of the day, it's a good result, right? You take it for the grand scheme of things. You take it for the entire season. You go to Seattle, you earn a point. It is what it is, right? It sucks that you can win at home so far. It sucks that you can't win, period, yet. You're not picking up points by the 3 load. But at the end of the day, this is a very good result. And Joey, you did a fantastic job with the ratings again. And I think you always see it in a non-biased aspect, right? I
like the averages.
All the time, man. It's great. So I would definitely guide you guys or tell you guys to go check out.
Let me tell you what he gave them, and then the people, if they want to go into depth of why, they can go read it. So for the starters, he had Jimmy Moore. He gave him a 7. You guys can agree or disagree on the chat. Griffin Dorsey 7.5. Bartlow not available. He didn't play much. Awodesu 7.5, Franco Escobar 9.5, men of the match for Joey. Arthur a 7, Junior Urso number 9, that he also could have been easily man of the match. Amin Bassi 5.5, Sebastian Kowalczyk 6.5, Nico Lodedo 5.5, Ponce 7, and then the substitutes Daniel Steres 7.5, Aliyu 6.5, and Blake with an 8. Eric Dueñas and Eric Shevchenko, I can't say it right. He didn't rate him. He didn't have a lot of minutes on there, and then coaching an 8. So the coach also gets rated. So go check those out. There's averages to them. I'm not gonna tell them. Yeah. But you can go check them out and kind of see.
Yeah, no, check them out because honestly, I'm sure people are going to disagree, but whenever you see everything and watch the game a bunch of times, I think Joey does a really good job of picking apart and being, hey, if a guy gets a 3, he gets a 3, man, and here's why type of thing. So I love it. It's not everybody's going to get a passing grade, and it should be that way. Where I wanted to go with that, and Joey, you did mention the fact that after the game, it was midnight here. We're talk to the coach, talk to Junior Uso. Ben is happy, ecstatic that
he was stoked.
Tie. I mean, and definitely no other reason than that, man. Again, if you think of grand scheme of things, right, with the injuries, having 2 guys go down, kind of have to shift some of the things that we haven't seen. It's fantastic. And it's funny because Joey, you're usually our guy when it comes to those late night games, man. Since
I was tired.
To be ahead of us, man. And
it's those 8:30 kickoffs, man. They get me.
Those are late.
Yeah, it was late, man. So obviously, Dustin and myself were in there. There's a couple other guys in there as well, and I mean the questions were all about the game, and what we have this slide that friggin' Diego created with this that's happening, and we found it funny in myself and Dustin the way that Ben, specifically my questions were definitely something that it's not that he didn't like them. I just thought it was funny. But this is Ben, and honestly, we deal with Ben so much, right? He answered one of my questions. I was like, "Have you ever coached a team away in Seattle?" Just the Ben way, and I have take no offense. I see people right now on social media going bananas over this and posting all kinds of nonsense about Ben. But to me, Joey, and you deal with them. I mean, I think even we get sometimes you get a fantastic answer. Sometimes emotions are running high, and it is what it is. And I out of all the coaches that we've dealt with here in Houston Dynamo since I started covering the team, Ben is probably the best. And like,
come on. Don't forget the GOAT. Kenny
Bundy.
Kenny Bundy is the number one.
I forgot he does count. He was an interim for sure, but no, it's to me. Honestly, I think every time that we interact with Ben, whether it be in person, whether it be in the press conference. Obviously, we're not in Seattle, so we're doing all this through Zoom and all that good stuff. But I love his honesty, his transparency. And at the end of the day, you could tell that the team, they were excited that the way that they approached the game worked. Now, if they would have done the same thing and it wouldn't have, then it would be a completely different issue. But they got the results they were looking for at the end of the day. And one of the earlier slides is mentioned about stopping the bleeding, and I think it really did that. And so I just thought it was so funny that people were going back and forward on social media. But I do love the fact that you guys are out there, giving us props for covering the team and being, on top of things and asking questions that people want to know. It's the coaches at the end of the day, they're not obligated to give you an answer. They can give you a Rex Ryan answer for all that matters, huh?
That's right. Love me some Rex Ryan.
The thing is, you didn't answer the question, Rudy. You did not answer the question.
I mean, dude, have I FIFA? I've always win in Seattle. It doesn't.
Dynamo haven't.
It just how it goes, right? But no. I mean, I take no offense. We deal with Ben and the Dynamo, and they're fantastic, man. At the end of the day, again, I get it. It's one of those things. Yeah. Can you do it on a cold, rainy night in Seattle? I don't know, man. We'll find out. I may have to. We may have to get you to mod, the FIFA game to do all that too, as well, man. But no, yeah. I just thought it was a funny Discord happening on social media and people being like, "Oh man, coaching is so rude." But one thing, not a lot of people get granted. There is some of the accounts out there that say like Ben Olsen sucks and all that stuff, but he's by far one of the best coaches that the Dynamo have seen in a long time, dude. And I think that's undisputable, right? At the end of the day, so if you're getting results, and this is the same Ben that when the team was doing fantastic, he gives you the same type of answers at times, and I mean, we've dealt with like Nagamura. What is the name? Polo Nagamura.
Yeah,
that guy. That guy was different. That guy, some of the comments that you guys are. No, you guys are. That's not the right coach. Like those go to this coach type of stuff. But man, there's a lot of tension. Whenever your team is not doing well, when this is your livelihood. Yeah. Man, they don't come. I mean, I get it, right? I let's go and question Christian at work. Kind of like, man, why are you doing this?
I do
that, but it's true. It is true though. When you kind of reflect it to your own workplace, when people try to tell you how to do your own job, it's not that we are telling him how to do his job.
No.
But we were obviously questioning it, right? And I mean, that is our job as media, right? As people that are following the team and are trying to get answers to certain, questionable things, or what were you thinking on this decision that you made, or whatever it may be, right? But even at least in my job, right, when people question me, like, bro, I've only been doing this for this long, like,
right,
I know you don't, type thing. Obviously, it's different because his answers do go to the public and everybody gets to see them, and obviously everybody gets to judge them. But like you were saying, Rudy, we kind of deal with him every single week. He literally knows he can put a face to the name. So whenever they say, hey, Rudy, ask a question, when they say Joey, ask a question, when they say Dustin or Christian or whoever may be of us, he knows exactly who's asking him the question, right?
Yeah,
because we see him often.
Absolutely.
So and I think there's a relationship there.
And a lot of the big stuff too is that obviously we do this in the correct way as well, right? Everything that we put out there. I mean, even going to Joey's ratings, right? I mean, Joey puts his name out there. Like, we're not
you don't hide behind any
exactly. We're not a avatar. We're not a fake name or whatever. Like, we're people, and and yeah, I mean, obviously we've done a little bit of travel media as well, and so whether they want to see us or not, after getting destroyed in St. Louis, they know they were there, right? And even then, they're happy that people are following the team, not for them, not for their sake, but because the fans need that, right? The fans need people to cover and care about the team that they care about. And so that's what we try to do. And at the end of the day, like, when you deal with different coaches, different situations, different discussions, different games, to me, I mean, Ben is the ultimate competitor as well, right? So
of course, yeah.
When you have a guy that and you've seen it, especially like players that become coaches that were big, right? Whether it be like a Maradona or whether it be just that type of really passionate player and coach. Which, granted, Maradona wasn't the best coach, but you know what I mean, like in that sense.
He was
like,
a motivator.
So it's just funny, man. I love it, and it's something that we love doing, and we're passionate about. So it doesn't stop us from getting those questions out there, whether they get bat down or not. It's not a big deal. Anything else you guys want to add? Anything that came to mind, Chris, Joey, just in this or that?
I want to talk about Andres Linger.
Yes, yeah, you feel free, man. I didn't add a thing there yet, and you can talk about that before we go into the Portland.
It's not official yet, right?
It's Bogert said it's happening. So
it's Bogert official. Okay.
Yeah. So I just want to dig into some of the numbers behind him. Some of his per 90 stats over the last 2 years, he's had 2 down years in a row. Like, he kind of his career trajectory, he started hitting a stride in the Czech first division with Slavia Prague. The Czech league's it's not the best league in the world, but it's of a similar level of like Croatia, where Aliu is from. And he had 2 years in a row where he was cooking, or in terms of goals. Like, he was scoring a lot of goals. He scored 14 and 31, and the next he scored 11 and 27. So he's a goal-scoring, attacking midfielder. He's not like Bassi or Ladera, where they're there to dictate play and create and combine. He's a 10 that's going to get into the box and score some goals, and that's exactly what this team needs. Because, if you watch the team play, they'll hold possession for a lot of time. They're doing their thing. Bassi's creating, Ladero's creating, Kowalczyk is doing something, McGlynn's creating, and then there are all these players around the box. And it's just Ponce is the only guy on the 6-yard line. There's no one else in the box. Bassi is nowhere to be found. Ladero's nowhere to be found. Sometimes Dorsey's the guy getting in the box. So if you could take Ladero or Kowalczyk out of the game for this guy, get him inside the 8-yard line in that area, he's going to score goals. And that's what I like about him. And then I also did some digging. You guys know I'm a Dago, have you ever seen this man play in your entire life? I would not make a comment like that unless he's
question. How many assists did he give Jimenez? Santiago and Feyenoord, did he get any assists?
He wasn't good there apparently, right?
No, he wasn't. He didn't play a ton there. He wasn't great there.
Ooh.
But I mean, that's fine. I would like to see him play before I call him out to not be a DP. And I wanted to check Football Manager. You guys know I'm a huge Football Manager guy. I wanted to check the ratings on there and do a little comparison. So the Football Manager in 2024, they have him rated as a 128 current ability. It's out of 200 the scale on Football Manager. And just some comparison with some Dynamo past and present players last year. So this guy's a 128 Linger. Coco's a 122. So they have him better at Coco. Sviatchenko's also a 128. Bossy's a 113. And to kind of compare that number to other MLS players in his position, Georgi Mihailovic is a 130. Diego Rossi's a 130. Lucho Acosta's a 132. Gozdog's a 127. Rusnak's a 127. Evander's a 135. So he's in that kind of number range. And this is more based off his last season in Slavia Prague than his season in Feyenoord. So the scouts in FM, which I know a lot of the guys that do that, they're very good. They think he's a good player. They think he's of that quality. He may have had a bad year at Feyenoord, but he could find form. Your form is temporary. If he's a good player, he's a good player. He scores goals. We're not signing Paul Pogba. That's so stupid. Please stop. That's not happening. Please no. So yeah, I have some faith. My first reactions, I weren't happy with Lingard, but just digging more into the numbers, doing more research on the player as a whole instead of just being reactionary about it, like I see a lot of people are doing, and actually watching his qualities and observing what he could do.
Dynastats, guys.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely. You're right. You're absolutely correct.
Welcome to the show, Dynastats.
I 100% agree with you, man.
Dynastats.
Shout out to this guy. This guy's awesome. I was more talking about his per 90 numbers in terms of chance creation weren't good. That's where I was more focusing on. But yes, he gets in the box. He gets on the end of opportunities, and that's what they need because we have so many creative players, but no one to create to. Ponce could only do so much. When Ponce is the only guy in the box and three center backs are up his ass, how are you going to get this guy the ball? There's no way to get him the ball. There's no lane to get the ball to the player in the box that's covered by three guys. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. I'm excited to just have another player out there that's an attacking or creative, and I'm sure that Ben Olsen has been wanting him since yesterday. Obviously, they picked up Dwayne Holmes because he's still walking around with a boot that, it'd be another option. But at this point, how long do we have? About a week, 2 weeks before the window closes?
April,
Joey?
April.
I can't remember exactly. I know it's in April, but anyways.
End of April? MLS transfer window. Let me look it up.
Yeah. But yeah.
April 23rd.
Okay, so there's still a month left.
Yeah.
So at this point, you want to get as many pieces as you can, especially with all the gams that have, gathered throughout all these moves. Will they be calling Steve Clark? That's something that we've been saying just jokingly at this point. But man, I mean, picking up another goalkeeper or two at this rate, because you're really thin. I mean, who's the backup right now to Gillian? I mean, that's a true question because Pedro Cruz was brought in for D2 only, so I don't know how many they can bring him up.
So they could bring him up as an emergency option. They could bring out a D2 player even if they're not on a first team contract because there's in their MLS rulescape there's like an emergency player pickup. It's like when you don't have enough players to even fill like half a bench or you don't have a backup goalkeeper on your roster, you could bring someone like that in, or you could sign someone from a pool of emergency players.
Yeah. Yeah, people wanting Tyler Derrick. I don't know, man.
Please
people.
No.
Onstead, he may break a hip. William Jarborough, same thing. Michael Nelson retired. I do remember that.
Could you bring up that comment from Jay Hurtado?
Let me see. The Ponce one?
Yeah. And you're 100% right.
Yeah.
But watch the guys play. The Kowalczyk does still, even when there is open space for someone to get in there and attack that space that's left open when Ponce is being covered, guys, they don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
The Kowalczyk doesn't do it. We've talked about Bossy, how he needs to get better. That Ben Olsen has talked about that, and he just does not have that aggressive instinct in the box.
There's not really a man that makes runs.
He doesn't have to be a goal scorer. Bossy on his own, he's a fantastic creator. He's really good in combination play. He's not a goal scorer. But when you have a team of Dynamo who just lack goal scorers and you have 4 guys around a striker who aren't getting into the box, someone has to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But that leads on.
Ladero is so passive too.
Yeah, that leads on into the Portland game coming up, guys. Obviously, the Dynamo luckily have a little bit of rest since this game's going to be on Sunday. I'm assuming this is one of those premier games, being at 6 o'clock, right? What is it called? Sunday soccer Sunday. Sunday night soccer. Yeah,
it's on Sunday.
So we're prime time, baby.
Yeah, prime time. So you don't want to, screw the pooch when you're all eyes are on you type of thing for sure. But the Providence Park 6. I know at this point I wrote down more points for Houston to earn on the road, since that's basically what they seem to do lately. But obviously Portland looked like they were really struggling out of nowhere. They've been pulling some wins, or at least a big win against Colorado this weekend. So they get a tie over with the Galaxy, and then they get a pretty big away win. Portland is a dangerous team, right? I mean, here is their current form. They lost against Nashville. They drew against Galaxy, and again they beat Colorado at home, or away in Colorado. But their starting lineup, man, I mean, this is not the Man U Anthony that you guys may be thinking of. This guy's actually pretty good.
Hey, Man U Anthony's been killing it at Betis.
He just needed to get away from the English Premier, man. And
from Manchester United, you mean?
Him and Cucho Hernandez linking up.
They're cooking over there, huh?
Sean loves Ponce. Like it, Dago. Good job.
The Ponce.
I'm gonna get a Lingard jersey, dude. Go if you're gonna get it. Go make sure you go to We Got Soccer. I'll give you that shout out. But yeah, no, the team. I mean, Chara, man. Chara is old. I mean, this guy is like close to 40 years old, and he still balls, man.
He still balls.
He's a beast. He's just something completely.
He's just an MLS legend. He's one of those guys.
I love that guy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. Yeah, I mean, you can see how good the team was against Colorado. Obviously, whenever you win 3-0, usually that tilts your way. Funny that Mora was the lowest on there with on the who's
the attacker.
Two of the subs were the ones that scored, huh? I mean, I didn't.
Yeah, I really like that David Ayala kid. He's starting to come into his own this year as well.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I have a sister on my Facebook as a friend.
That's
I don't know
whose sister?
Ayala.
You have his sister?
Yeah, I've had her. I don't know how, why, when, because obviously they're from Argentina.
Yeah.
And she befriended me like years ago.
Maybe she's your cousin. You don't even know this.
She probably is.
You're probably related.
At this point. Oh, you know what? I have a cousin named Ashala.
There you go. Maybe this guy is your cousin at this point. So
introduce her to me, bro.
Whoa. I mean, I would have to check if she's single or not. But I mean, hey, there you go. Why not? We'll make the love connection.
Yeah, I'm a big Portland guy.
It was funny. It was interesting whenever like she would post like pictures of her like going to go watch her brother with her parents or whatever. And I was like, because he was at Estudiantes, and then all of a sudden they were like, oh, he's going to because I would see her post and I was like, oh, let me watch this kid. And Estudiantes, like, he's just coming up, he's debuting or whatever. And I was like, oh, he's decent, like he's pretty good. He's like a good defensive mid. Yeah. Obviously, he was still like 18 or something like that. Yeah. And then, out of the blue, Portland was like, oh, we're getting this kid. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I know.
Yeah, it's funny how like players like him that look like they're finally kind of finding their feet. Obviously, like Kamal Miller. At this rate, Joe, you were thinking that the Dynamo were going to go up there, beat them, and get Phil Neville fired like they did it when he was with Miami, right?
Yeah, it's happening. Phil Neville's job is safe for now.
They're
doing all right. They're not doing too bad. They're not doing too great either. They're fine.
So what leads to differ regarding the Dynamo starting lineup? I went ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean to.
Whoa!
Edson, my bad. I didn't mean to click it. I got
down.
I've moved the mouse and I hit it right.
On Jamie.
Then on. But this is where it's going. This is what the lineup is probably going to look like. I think Escobar is going to get probably pushed into the center back position if Sviatchenko's not ready to play in a tough field. I mean,
I don't think Aliu comes in.
Yeah, I put Aliu just because I still had Lodeiro out there. I was like, maybe Kovalchik gets a break after kind of being lost in transition. McGlynn should be back, right? I mean, he should. Did he play on the third
Canada game? No.
Yeah, no. Okay,
I'm fine with that.
I didn't watch it. Yeah,
his legs.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So that's more or less. I mean, obviously, again, this point you got Billingham as the starting keeper, unless we find out otherwise.
Billingham.
Gillingham.
Gillingham.
Clearly, Gillingham. My bad, Gilling.
Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, man. See, this is me misspelling stuff sometimes, but sorry, Gillingham.
It's all right.
So yeah, Blake would be the one starting, and more or less.
Dang, you have faith in Aliu, huh?
I'm just thinking like he may change some things up, but knowing Ben, we'll probably see the same lineup again with just that movement of Escobar and Steres there, and then which. I guess your prediction, Joey, for this match, man. Let's go ahead and get into it before we hit on Chris's divination.
I'm just gonna copy what I did this last game. I'm just gonna go 1-1 again.
Yeah, 1-1.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that. I think definitely a draw is feasible.
Yeah.
Seeing how the way the Dynamo tend to be set up now, who's scoring goals? I don't know. I'm leaning more towards a 0-0 again. But man, I think it's so vital that hopefully by the end of this week we find out or get the news that they did, sign this DP10 that they desperately need, and it's not like he's going to be ready for this game, or probably it's going to take a month or two for him to get in here. But
I'll plan on that long then.
Well, with the whole visas and all that P1s, I don't know what that all looks like, but
I'm sure they're already working on that.
So 0-0 draw is my prediction. Christian, what's your prediction?
0-0 draw.
All right.
I really no. I'm
game.
laughing. I'm laughing at the draw, but I think kind of going into my divination a little bit. I think there's going to be the first win, 2-1 win by the Dynamo.
I could very well see it. I think it's a winnable game. I'm not going to predict them to win because they haven't won yet, but it's a winnable game.
Yeah, no, I
that.
think so too. What was that? I was gonna say something, and I completely forgot what I was gonna touch on.
Can we bring up that Doggo comment?
Let's see.
Doggo getting a lot of
the
love.
Shadow Striker.
Because
I want to bring up this point because a lot of people are asking or wanting the team to score more goals, and here they are spending DP money on a guy who scores goals, and we still complain.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand the logic there.
Yeah, let people be bust.
Come on,
I just don't get it. You guys want goals. We bring in a goal scorer. That's not the kind of guy I want.
Right.
What do you want then?
Who do you want?
Who do you want?
Like,
do you want another creator? We just brought in Nico Ladero. You're not going to get much better creators within Major League Soccer than Nico Ladero.
Right.
What do we
Well,
want?
and even then, like whenever they brought Bossy, I don't think nobody expected Bossy to score 8 goals his first season. And
Bossy doesn't need to score goals. That's not his role. If he has a guy like Linger in here who could score 10 goals a season, Bossy doesn't need to score goals. No one's going to complain if Bossy scores 4 or 5 goals a year, but gets 12 assists. No one cares.
Rudy will for sure complain.
I gotta make those Bayou City Soccer, and then Bossy sucks in the back.
Bossy sucks on the back.
But
you don't mind Aliu sucks.
Disrespectful.
Joey, who do you think in this team sucks?
Who do I think in this team sucks?
Yeah, so we can
don't ask him, man.
That's a tough question. I don't think this team is filled with a lot of players that suck. I think it's just void of a special player right now. Hopefully Lingard can be that special player. The guy that I'm most concerned with on the team right now, and inside the starting lineup, is Sebastian Kowalczyk. Because I'll give it to him. He had a pretty good game in Seattle. He worked his butt off. He created some good chances. I thought he was pretty solid, but his chance creation numbers have been awful this year, as well as he's pretty much useless when it comes to getting in the box and scoring. So if he's not creating, he's not getting an opportunities to score. He's just not doing enough. His defense and work ethic is good.
Yeah.
And at least with Aliu is not scoring a lot of goals. He hasn't been creating a lot of goals either, but at least his work ethic and the way he goes about his work ethic with the width he brings in that threat in behind, it at least allows other players on the team to be at a bigger advantage. Kowalczyk doesn't really do any of that. He kind of just plays good defense and then just kind of walks around and does short little passes with Batioja that don't really lead to much.
Yeah.
That's kind of my issue with Kowalczyk right now.
It's definitely a little frustrating just the way that the Dynamo has shifted gears in the wrong direction from year 1 and year 2 to now. And I mean, again, Ben is just trying to get his players, man. He just need players at this point, right? I think
they're getting punished for being good.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. They were really good these last 2 years. They made really good signings. They developed players. And just the formula of Major League Soccer as a selling league, when you develop good players, you get punished for it. It's just what happens. Yeah. And it seemed like they weren't planning on selling Coco and Mikael this offseason. That wasn't the plan.
Especially Mikael, I would say.
Especially Mikael. They were not going to sell Mikael. We talked to Pat about this.
Yeah.
Me and Dustin interviewed Pat in January, and we asked him about it, and he said, "Man, I hope no one comes in with a big offer from him because we don't really have much of a plan right now." That's pretty much what he said, because you can't replace him. How do you replace Mikael? You're not he's on a $200,000 salary.
Making nothing.
A left-footed center back with that athleticism. There is no single player on the entire planet for that value that they're going to be able to bring in that's going to give you the same result. It doesn't exist.
Absolutely. And it's funny because at the end of the day, players like Femi are stepping up. I mean, yes, you're throwing him into the fire, but they're doing a good job.
I will never hate on Femi.
He's growing.
They're going to make mistakes, right?
He's had rough games, but he's been thrown in, and he's giving it his best. He really is. And Bartlow's been mentoring him well. We've seen Artur take him under his wing at times. Ben's giving him a lot of pointers. We saw Aurelian Collins been chatting with him a lot on the sidelines. Like they're helping him, and he's inconsistent as hell. He has mistakes in him, but you got to give it to him. He's come in and he's giving it his best shot.
Yeah, and I think one of the main things with Van Olsen's team, it's apart from the Miami game this season, you can never say that his team is not out there giving like their all, if that makes sense. They're working, they're fighting. It's always competitive, no matter who's out there. If we look at the roster right now, it's probably by far one of the worst rosters on MLS. Yeah. And they're still there competing, And sadly, it's starting to break down. It took 3 years for these injuries to kind of come afloat. But then you also got to see the positive, right? In a few months, you get an Ollie back. You probably get maybe a Nelson towards the end of that. So, I mean, you just always have to also look at the positives and some of the things that are missing.
They are working so hard, and I really disagree with that comment from Jay Hurtado. They're absolutely fighting.
Yeah.
Like look at the defensive performance. Everyone's covering each other. Anytime people have been getting injured, it's been next man up. They're coming in. They're putting in their shift. Are they as talented as some of the starters as we like? No, but they're putting in their best effort. They're playing as a team.
Yep.
I want to play devil's advocate for a second.
Yeah, go for it, man.
I do agree with you guys and the whole, spirit of the team. I feel like we were missing that. Like you guys mentioned in Miami, there was no fighting spirit in that game whatsoever, in my opinion.
I agree more with Brandon.
I like to see my team
it's an
play
execution
hard,
thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. But also on the other side of the coin, right?
Yeah.
We have to be realistic and point out that there has been no wins in 5 games.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, it's progress, of course. But at the end of the game, it's a competitive game and you have to win. I don't like to lose. You guys don't like to lose. and I'm sure they don't like to lose too.
Absolutely.
So, as much as we do see the effort from certain players, I don't think we see it from all of them, because some guys wouldn't have been benched, in my opinion, right? If they weren't giving it their all.
Aliu.
We're giving it their all.
Absolutely gives it as well. I don't. That's nonsense. Come on.
No.
benched.
I'm just talking about getting.
Yeah, he got benched not because he's not playing hard.
No, it's because the execution is not there.
Yeah, exactly.
He got benched because Ben was trying a different tactic. He went for a more narrow approach. I asked him about that in the press conference. He said he wanted to go more narrow.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is that obviously you play good or you fit the system, you will play, right? You also, as a player, you learn to accommodate to whatever the coach needs, right?
Because it's like it is 5 games. And then the people that have been saying, I told you so, that Ben is not going to take you anywhere, said blah, 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 blah. The more the team loses, the more that noise is going to be rattling. 100%. And it makes, to think, obviously, we're not in that boat, right? I think we trust, from what we see, we trust the process that Ben has brought in. But at the end of the day, if you don't win enough games, and you don't do it. I mean, obviously, there's exceptions, right? I mean, we saw Peter Vermees not win like 15 games, it seemed like, and he was still fine, and it's starting over for them as well.
He got Kansas City to the damn the CONCACAF Champions League.
Yep.
Like, and they were shit like for half of the year last year, which is insane. Yeah. Yes. Right. We agree with all that, but like I said, playing devil's advocate, we also have to come to a point where, when obviously if the team doesn't, if they keep losing or keep tying or not winning, right? When do we start applying the pressure? Be it to not Ben Olsen, or maybe Ben Olsen, right? Tactically or whatever, we may see or agree or disagree with him tactically. At the end of the day, he is a coach. He has the coaching degree. We don't, right? But we see the game the way we see it, right? But also, I think we also have to give shit. And I know maybe they are building a really good team, but when it comes to Pat and Asher, what about contingency? What's the word I'm looking for?
Contingency.
Yeah. So like, you had Mikel. Obviously, you knew that this guy's not going to be here forever, right? Like, the offer is going to come through from whenever, and you're going to have to sell him because it's going to be good money. Where's the plan? Okay, was Femi the plan? Perfect. At least we have a plan, right? Was he the best plan? Probably not. Probably yes, right? He's still growing. He's probably will become a good center back. No, for when they sold him,
we're about to fire. We're gonna have an opening. We're firing Christian after the show. We didn't want to say that loud, but
Felipe Andrade was the long-term plan for Mikael. They were They were Felipe Andrade. That happened. Those talks started well before Mikael was sold. It was a long-term plan.
That's what I'm saying. Mikael. Like we got to bring those things up, right? Like, start questioning these everything that we obviously do. I'm guessing I'm just kind of trying to feed off the comments basically, because everybody's over here like, we want to win, and obviously we try to be positive.
Everyone wants to win. It's not that easy.
Yeah. Exactly. That's right. We try to be positive. We try to understand, the fact that, we do have a shit team.
Are you trying to be part of the lunatic French? Is that what we're trying to do?
Not necessarily, but you also have to see on the other side that you only have 2 points in 5 games.
Yeah.
And, when do we start worrying, as fans or as followers of the team?
Because there is so many things happening, and let's try to close it down because we still have to talk a little bit of Dynamo 2 and Crush Joey's stats question out here. But yeah, to your point, I mean, there's so much things happening around the team, whether it be injuries, whether it be, player transitions, right? We talked about this. You lost not just Mikael, you lost Steve Clark, you lost Hector Herrera, you lost Coco. Those are vital players that have, accumulated so many minutes in the starting lineup for the last 3 years or 2 years. And then now you're starting over. You have to get all this new players to get adjusted. You obviously haven't brought in quality players to replace them, like for like per se. And at this point, you don't know if you are right now. It may be a summer thing. And because of that has to be taken into account. However, the one thing that is difficult to kind of keep getting away from is the fact that you're not scoring goals consistently. That's the bigger question, right? And if you're bringing players like the DP10 guy, and then he's going to change it, then that makes sense, right? If he's going to come and change the way that the team works, then okay. But if he comes in, if he doesn't do anything as well, then is it the system? Is it, what is it? Because you can see the frustration in Ben every time. I mean, at the RSL game, for God's sakes, it was like 3xG almost, and he was just pissed at, like, dude, how come we can't score? Right? So you can tell that at the end of the day, he's never going to throw a player under the bus, but he sees that the way that he's approaching the game and the way that he is studying the teams, before, it's working. It's there. It's just the execution part of it. And again, we're sounding like a broken, freaking soundtrack here, but that is the case. And I think to an extent, you're right, Chris. How long, is it going to be maybe they lose the next 3 games? They lose the next 4 games?
Like you said, you got to point out 2 goals in 5 games and then 8 goals against in 5 games. Where's the problem, right? Like, I mean, your question was correct, maybe towards towards Ben, about the offensive side of things. Obviously, he didn't take it well, but I mean, and the reality is there, right? Only 2 goals in 5 games. And like it or not, I mean, people are going to ask questions. People are going to ask themselves, like, hey, why isn't Ponce, like Rushan, he's, we're making fun of Rushan, right? Because we're saying we like Ponce. He doesn't. But at the end of the day, he does have a point. The fact that, like we said, he doesn't have the service. We have that answer, right? That he doesn't have the service. And right now he's kind of playing more defensive than offensive, right?
Right.
But he is your DP9, and there's only 2 goals in 5 games. Obviously, not all the responsibility of goals should be on Ponce. He's not the team, right? You have other 5 guys that can create goals, and none of them are creating like Joey.
They are
stated.
creating though.
No. But like,
all right, guys. I'm gonna have to cut you off.
It's not clear cut.
Yeah, exactly. Not clear cut creations. That's what I meant.
Jeff, could you not even bro? Don't bring that bad juju on us, dude. If they bring in the DP10 and he gets injured, that's just the season at that point.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's basically Portland. Didn't Portland kind of go through that like last year or the year before that? They kind of just lost everybody. But but one thing though that is for sure, obviously Dynamo 2 been playing, they've been scoring players. We didn't really talk about the El Salvador game. Obviously a friendly, didn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things, but Orso did get to play that game. Diego Gonzalez goes in that game as well, scores the goal, then he travels to Seattle, makes the bench, gets shipped, overnighted back to Houston, scores the goal. I mean, there's players out there. Can they make a difference in the first team? Probably not. And I don't think it's fair to give them that type of pressure yet. But we know this, right? There's people that are going to be asking for Batioja. There's people that are going to be asking for Arzu. There's people going to probably be asking for Diego as well. And there is definitely some weight to all that for sure. But again, it's just a part of the system. They're trying to figure out exactly who they are now, this new Dynamo team. And you guys may see it as like, well, it's the same coach. It's not the same players. Things have been changing. And it's fair to give them that time, especially after the good seasons that they've had. But the Dynamo 2, again, they played at home against North Texas. They beat them 2-0, and they'll be playing here on Wednesday night. Well, not here, but they'll be playing Wednesday night against Ventura FC, who is that's Galaxy's, right?
Yeah.
Academy. So, yeah, again, you keep an eye out for those games. I don't know. I didn't even look it up if it was going to be on Apple or if it's on MLS Next Pro, but you can catch those games. They'll stream them. It's probably going to be a later game, being in the West Coast. But again, those games are good to watch. It's, if you guys are diehards and keep up with every
Wednesday at 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Yeah, you're not going to catch me on that, man. So yeah, 5-1 win. What did I say? Did I say it the opposite?
Rudy being corrected by a stats guy.
Yeah, 5-1 to win. I don't know what I said. I say a
No.
lot of things. I don't know what
I
I say.
believe you, Rudy. I believe you.
Anyways, but yeah, so that's kind of where it's going with that, guys. We've run. This has been a great show. I think great discussion for a 0-0 game, right? I mentioned that. I feel like there's still a lot to talk about, but let's go ahead and
talk about, man.
yeah, let's go ahead and finish it off with Crush Joey stats. So
All right,
Edson,
what y'all got for me today?
there you go. All right, so I went with something related with Portland. Hopefully, my slides are correct and I didn't put them in the wrong order. But the question says, which Dynamo player has scored the most goals against Portland? They've played.
While Joey thinks, let the chat also throw their answers. But Joey's not going to look at them. Yeah, don't look at them.
Yeah, don't look at the chat.
Let's see. Griffin Dorsey has that one against Portland that was in that game that was after Leagues Cup in 2023. So there's only one for Dorsey.
So let me just mention the fact that there have been played 28 games in history, and that includes playoffs as well.
I'm going to say Romo Kyoto wasn't around long enough.
Hold on, Joey. Read out the question and the answers because of the listeners on the podcast.
Yeah.
So which Dynamo player has scored the most goals against Portland? It's Will Bruin, Griffin Dorsey, Romo Kyoto, and Marminotas.
Yep.
Romo Kyoto was only starting for 2 seasons, so I'm going to completely rule him out. Although I know he did score in it was the second game of 2017. So, but yeah, it's not Dorsey. Will Bruin's a tough one because Will Bruin was just here forever.
Yeah.
But I off the top of my head, I can't think of any Will Bruin goals against Portland. So I'm going to go Manotas because I could think of multiple goals for Manotas. He had a hat trick against them. He scored in the playoffs against them. So it's going to be Manotas.
All right.
Final answer.
Joey says Manotas. Who is it, Edson?
Hey.
All right, man. And the slide after that shows you exactly who scored. So it was pretty close in a way between Manotas and Bruin. They're the top scorers. Manotas, right, with 8 goals total. Valeri and the opposite end with 8, and then Will Bruin with 5 for the Dynamo.
Such a beast, man.
Other than that, I believe when I was looking through it, Dorsey had 2 or 3 goals as well. So there's some guys out there. Dorsey. We're gonna speak it into assistant. Dorsey gets a hat trick against Portland, and bumps up the table. Let's go. But yeah, man, guys, this has been great episode, man. Thank you guys. I'm so happy to be back. I feel alive and rejuvenated after my vacation. And if you guys kept seeing me like with this bottle, I'm not drinking beer. It's ginger beer. I know it's so weird. No, it's not bad. It's sort of like root beer but ginger. You put it on mixed drinks, but I was like, I want to just drink it by itself, and it kept me alive. It kept me happy and entertained at 10:30 p.m. where we can probably do another 2 hours, but Sour Patches work, man. They do.
Dude, what do I got? I got
Alakazam.
I got Lucario.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll let Chris tell the people how they can connect with us. But I do want to push that if you guys, I know that you guys are listening on YouTube, right? And we love it. Make sure that you subscribe there. But if you're a podcast person like myself, man, go in, whether you listen to Apple or Spotify, go in there. Give us a 5-star review. We'll love that. Give us a written review. Maybe things that we can improve. That's fine as well. But, by the time that, we record again, I want to see more in there, more reviews, more ratings. I challenge, like Jeff, Jay Hurtado, Rushan, all the guys that are listening, man. I would really, really appreciate it. I know that you guys enjoy coming here and you guys, like listening. Yes. Thank you,
Jeff. he said, you're fired.
Yeah, I'm gone, man. I gotta leave. But yeah, no, we really appreciate it. But Chris, man, tell the people exactly how they can reach us, dude.
Yeah. Also, I want to say my divination is multiple goals by the Dynamo.
All right.
It's kind of like a simple one. I said 2-1, so that's multiple goals and multiple goal scorers. So more than one goal, more than one goal score.
I'll buy you a choripan somewhere if that happens.
Nice. Okay,
All right.
down. Bet.
Let's go.
But yeah, BayouCitySoccer.net. Before we get to that, don't forget to check out Ugly Guppy. Check out Ugly Guppy at uglyguppy.com. Go to Elotes Bravos on Instagram. Go check those guys out. We'll have a one of the fan feuds here coming up soon. And then, of course, if you need soccer gear, go to check out We Got Soccer. Check out their website and go check out the Instagram. We Got Soccer. I think it's HTX, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, go check them out. We have them. Go check out the conversation Rudy did with Ruben, and just go check out all the stuff that they have, all the merchandise, for your kids, for yourself, for that over 40 league that you're on. Go get some new Predators. Go get you a nice fitted jersey, triple XL or something for your gut, for your beer gut. But yeah, go check those guys out. And BayouCitySoccer.net, guys. Don't forget on Instagram, Facebook, X. Everywhere, dude. Just go check us out, man.
Twitter, Blue Sky,
yeah,
TikTok.
Blue Sky. I forgot Blue Sky. We need a TikTok. We need to be hip
Facebook.
And young.
Yeah.
BayouCitySoccer.net. Go check out everything we have.
Shout out to Edgar. I love it. Not the yeah, no, and obviously shout out to Edson, man. Sorry, Edson, for me getting trigger happy at times and clicking buttons when I wasn't supposed to. But I will say, Edson, can you get in here real quick? Because Edson, we haven't had time. This show, man. Obviously, like, how excited are you, man? Having a new team in McAllen, dude. Just
oh yeah,
we really did touch on it. We mentioned that you were ecstatic about it. Just a quick, 2 minutes on that, man.
Yeah. So the RGV will have more of a grassroots team in the you could call it's the 4th division in the U.S. Soccer Pyramid. They're going to be participating in the League for Clubs, which is a brand new league that is going to be founded this year. It's going to be a lot of former NPSL teams. Just to let you know, they did have tryouts this past Saturday, so it's going to be a brand new team. They're going to be playing in Harlingen, very community based. And I'm really, really excited that we're going to try something a little bit that's going to be more grassroots, a little bit not forced, but a little bit more of a natural growth. They have a lot of vision for this club. Let it grow naturally, hopefully, and maybe even if it gets big enough, join within the USL environment. Especially now that they implemented Pro Rel within the USL. So really looking forward to it, and hopefully there might be something that I might be announcing on my social media. Once it gets confirmed, that I'm sure a lot of people that have followed me for years since the Down in the Valley days would be very happy to hear.
Yeah, super excited, man. I wanted to get that, and I know you weren't really supposed to jump in, but I wanted your reaction since we missed you the last couple of weeks, and just to get that news out there, and all the confirmations with the Red Crowns, man. And hopefully we get a hat, a jersey sent our way. Maybe I would love to go out there too myself. But Jay Hurtado, you mentioned the next podcast, man. Monday nights. That's what we shoot for all the time. That's for this Dynamo podcast. Again, we're pushing for the Houston Dash and NWSL as well. So Wednesday night, you'd be getting a new episode, a new live episode of the Orange and Blue Prince as well. So you get all the reaction from Manny and Diego. And then Thursday, you get Movimiento Naranja with myself and David. We'll probably have to get Chris in there one of these days and get those reactions as well. Again, we're doing our best. We feel like we pump up so much content, which is, I feel like it's needed here in Houston following the team. So just exciting times, man. It's a lot. It's a lot to do, but man, we like it. We like it. Joey's always working, doing stats, ratings, all that good stuff.
Sir.
Man. So, without further ado, don't forget to hold it down and keep it forever orange, guys. Peace.
Night.